So it is with my honor that I introduce to you our men's group president, Dan Kester.
The high holidays, or should I say the high holy days. The high holy days are a special time for Jews. And everyone has their favorite part. For some people, their favorite part is hearing the sound of the shofar. For others, it's a beautiful Kol Nidre prayer. Your favorite might be simply the memories you have of coming to services with your parents or your grandparents or your kids or your grandkids. And for many of you, your favorite part is simply that first bite of food after the long fast. Yes, everyone has their favorite part of the high holy days. But one thing is for sure, no one's favorite part, no one's, is the annual fundraising speech. So imagine my surprise when I was told that I had a special honor this year. I asked, do I get an aliyah? Or do I read a special prayer? They said, no, you're doing the fundraising speech. And I was like, what do I know about fundraising? Nothing. But then I thought back, I remembered I actually do have some experience with religious fundraising. It was in a Catholic church. I was young, I was 17 or 18, and I'd wandered into this Catholic chapel. And the priest comes up to me and says, we're about to start the Mass, can you help with our fundraising? Sure, I said, I can do that, why not? He said, okay, sit down, I'll call you when you're on. So I started to get worried. I mean, what will I have to do? Will I have to read like something in Latin? My Latin's worse than my Hebrew. Much worse. Then I thought back to my synagogue where I grew up, and we had this guy who always did the fundraising speeches, and he would start always with a Yiddish joke. So I figured, okay, I'll do that. I'll tell a Yiddish joke. But then I worry. I said, well, these people, they probably won't get it. I mean, they probably don't know a shlemiel from a shlemazel. So now I'm getting really nervous. So if you're, okay, I know, I'll tell a Catholic joke. So I'm thinking, okay, the Pope and a rabbi walk into a bar, but I couldn't remember what happens after that. So now I'm panicking. What am I going to do? What am I going to say? It turns out all I had to do was walk around with this big pole that had a brass plate at the end and stick it in front of people's faces until they threw a few bucks on it, and that was the fundraising. Now, I tell this story, there's a reason for this, because it showed me the different ways that congregations can raise money. Here at Congregation Shir Shalom, we do not ask you for money at Friday night services or at Saturday morning services. In fact, you could come to services all year, every service, every bar mitzvah, every bat mitzvah, and we would never ask you for money except this one time. Today, now. This is it. And do you realize how few things in Judaism happen only once a year? We blow the shofar 100 times. We light the Hanukkah candles 8 times. We even have 2 Passover Seders. But the fundraising speech happens only 1 time a year. So, enjoy this. Appreciate it. Savor it. But most of all, respond to it. Because it won't happen again for a whole year. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Dan, I just wrote a big check for my dues. Now you're asking for more money? Yeah, but dues are kind of like paying your electric bill. You've got to do it. The annual giving campaign is something different. It gives you the chance to look inside yourself, into your heart, and to do something extra, something not required. It gives you a chance to show your appreciation for what the synagogue does for you, what it offers you. Now, maybe the synagogue was here for you when there was a special family milestone, a birth, a bar bat mitzvah, a wedding, or a death. Maybe the congregation and clergy supported you when you were ill or when a loved one passed away, as my own mother did this past May. Or maybe you like knowing that it will just be here for you should those things happen. And maybe you like that your kids or your grandkids or other people's kids or grandkids have a place to go to learn about Judaism and for Jewish events. Your synagogue is here for you. Now, you've probably all heard us say that the dues don't cover the expenses of the synagogue. And it's true. Without the money that will be pledged here today, we would need to cut back a lot. Maybe we would need to cut back to just one clergy member. Can you imagine what it would have been like if we only had one clergy member? And you had all come here last night and it was Rabbi Alex chanting the Kol Nidre? Sorry, Rabbi. Remember that, as Todd said, your donation is not just for us now, it is for the next generation, to make sure that an active and vital Reform Reconstructionist synagogue continues to exist here in Buffalo. Now, every day people come up to me and ask, Dan, how much should I donate? Well, actually, no one's ever asked me that. But if they did, I would say, well, think of what you'd spend when you take your family out for a nice dinner, or maybe you go to a Sabres game or a Bills game, or a concert or theater. Think about what you spend there and use that as a starting point. If you're on a tight budget, give less. That's okay. And if you're fortunate enough to be able to give more, please do. The large donations are critical for us. But whatever you do, please give something. I want you to look at your ticket that you walked in with, the blue ticket. You see the numbers on it. Everyone got your ticket? Good. Now put your thumb on one of these numbers. Give you a chance to get organized here. Now, how about moving your thumb like 1 inch, just 1 inch to the right? I said to the right, not the left. Okay. Now you fold down the tab. The ushers have envelopes you can put your tickets in for privacy. Just wave to them if you want one. Ushers, please. And when you're ready, pass your ticket to the ushers and know that today, on Yom Kippur, you have performed a mitzvah. Thank you.